So let's create a view for the list action. And remember, this is inside the Employee Manager controller. And currently in our views, by default, we have the home folder, and inside we have the index and privacy. We can actually delete that. We don't have the home controller, and we don't have these two actions either. So I'm gonna delete the home folder, and instead I'm going to create a new folder, and this one's gonna be called Employee Manager. And in it, I'm going to right click, add a view, and this is gonna be an empty eraser view for the list action. So this is gonna be called list. Alright, so what do we need here? So first of all, we are passing the model, which is the list of all employees, into this view. So in the model, we will specify that we want the list of employees. Now, we can specify it like this without the actual full namespace, because the template created this view imports. Let me just show you. This underscore view imports view that already specify that we are using the Employee Manager models, and it also specifies that we are using the tag helpers. If we didn't have this, then in the list view, we would have to specify the full path, which would be the employee manager.models.list. Now let's create a page structure. So let's do an h2 tag that can simply say list of employees. And then we will create a table. I'll just do basic styling. We're not gonna be using any bootstrap here. This is going to be just a very simple styling. So this is gonna be with the border 1. So what do we need in our table? So let's create a tr and then headers, and the first header is going to be the employee ID. Then we'll have the first name of the employee. Then we can have the last name, and we can have the title. And then we will create a for each loop, and we will loop through the list of all employees and populate this table. So after the tr, we'll do a for each loop, and we are looping through, let's say, an item in our model, which is the list of employees. And here we will create a table. So again, we'll start with tr, and then we'll have a td, and here we will have the employee ID. So this is coming from a model, so that's the item.employee ID. I'm gonna copy that and paste it 3 more times under here, because the second one we are displaying the item.firstname, then we are displaying the last name, and then we are displaying the title. And this is a very simple view. So let's just run it and see if everything is connected correctly and everything is gonna display okay. And you can see by default we are displaying the list of all employees. So when we don't specify the controller or the action, by default, like I said, we go to the list employees and we are displaying all the employees information. Now there's few things I want to change here. For example, we don't need the navigation here, so let's just make some changes there. And that comes from our main layout. So in the shared folder we have the underscore layout.cshtml. I'm gonna open that, and let's make some changes here. So the title, since this is so simple, we don't need any view data, it's simply gonna say employee manager. And we are not using bootstrap, so I'm going to remove this style sheet for the bootstrap. And then in the body, I'm going to remove this header. We don't need the navigation at all. And instead, I will specify h1 tag, and this is gonna be employee manager. Since we are not using bootstrap, these classes are irrelevant. So this is just gonna be a div tag. We don't need the main role either. And this is gonna simply render the body, which is the table. So I'm gonna remove the main and leave it all in a simple div. After that, I can have a space. We don't need this footer at all. I'm gonna actually remove that, because we are going to be then using the identity, and we will specify our own information in the footer based on who is being logged in. And here with the scripts, I'm going to keep the jQuery, but again, I'll remove the bootstrap. And we don't have this js.site. We don't need that either, so I'm gonna remove that. So this is a simplified view. Let's run this again. And now all we have, as you can see, is the table with the employees. Alright, so next let's start working more on our controller, because we need to also perform the CRUD operations, which is of course to insert, edit, or delete records. So let's start working on those next.